Clair Obscur Expedition 33 was released a while back and was greeted with both critical and player acclaim. We also thought it was a magical experience. Link to the review on the upper right over there. It was a wonderful time and a really fun game. A lot of people say it's unique, revolutionary, and that some people who don't generally like playing turn-based may consider playing if more turn-based games were like this. Well, you know that saying about standing on the shoulder of giants? Clair Obscur is no different. While Clair Obscur is an amazing game, other games of the past have paved the way and maybe even inspired it. So we'd like to take this opportunity to bring you a few games that you may like if you enjoyed Clair Obscur Expedition 33. We'll start off with one that we already mentioned in our review. You'll probably get sick of this comparison from Legend of Dragoon fans, but if you like Clair Obscur's battle system, you'd probably love Legend of Dragoon. Legend of Dragoon is a classic from the PS1 era, developed by Sony. Thanks to the commenter who corrected us in the comment section of our Clair Obscur review, by the way. Would have probably made the same mistake if it hadn't been mentioned. Anyway, the game tells the story of Dart, who is on a journey to find the Black Monster, responsible for his parents' deaths. Along the way, a woman named Rose helps Dart gain the power of a Dragoon. This allows him to undergo this Power Ranger type transformation to gain immense power. We follow Dart and his party as they journey around the world, and yes, his party members are all color-coordinated Dragon Power Rangers too. Like Clair Obscur, Legend of Dragoon's battle system is also centered around this QTE type system that they called Addition.
Yes! Burning Rush!
Getting the QTE right will get you additional hits until you finish the full combo. As the game progresses, you gain more additions, which allow you to execute longer combos and therefore deal more damage. Once a character has a Dragoon spirit, they can also transform into this really cool Dragoon form once they've accumulated enough spirit points from executing additions. Attacks in this form also have a QTE in the form of this spinning roulette looking thing. Legend of Dragoon may not have the dodge/parry system that Clair Obscur has, but it does have one of the most useful, maybe even too useful, guard mechanics I've ever seen. Legend of Dragoon is available on the PS Store for the PS4 and 5 if you're interested. Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door. People who are only familiar with Mario as a platformer are probably really confused right now. But for those who have been living under a rock, Mario has had a number of RPG games dating back to Super Mario RPG on the SNES, which was remastered not too long ago. Among those many RPG games, we chose Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door, which was also remastered not too long ago. Like Clair Obscur, Thousand Year Door's battle is also largely centered around input timing. Attacks, skills, and defense will depend on how well you do on these QTE mechanics. Honestly, any of the Mario RPGs would do if we're only talking about the turn-based QTE mechanics. However, we chose the Thousand Year Door specifically because of the party members. We praised Clair Obscur for giving each party character unique mechanics in battle. The Thousand Year Door also gives each character unique QTE mechanics, but other than that, it gives them unique utility in the overworld exploration. Party members all make unique contributions to puzzle solving and platforming outside of battle with their unique overworld skills. Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door is available on the Nintendo Store for the Switch, and we assume the Switch 2 as well when it comes out. The last two games were more on the retro side, so let's get some more modern examples, like Sea of Stars. It's an indie game we reviewed back in 2023 that's highly inspired by games like Chrono Trigger and Super Mario RPG, so essentially it's a modern retro game. Ironic. Sea of Stars essentially follows the journey of two chosen ones called Solstice Warriors, on their journey to realize their destiny of defeating the powerful Fleshmancer. Much like the previous entries on this list, the game employs a lot of timing-based inputs in its battle mechanics. Enemy attack timings are also different, a lot like Clair Obscur, which makes you pay attention to each battle to learn their attack patterns. It also features a unique lock mechanic where locks would pop up whenever an enemy prepares its attack. These locks correspond to a certain attack type, and attacking with said attack types will break the lock and cancel an enemy attack. We loved Clair Obscur's amazing soundtrack, and Sea of Stars is also quite up there with regards to great soundtracks. Some of the tracks are also composed by the legendary Yasunori Mitsuda, who's responsible for some legendary tracks from Chrono Trigger and Xenoblade Chronicles. Sea of Stars is one of our favorite games of 2023, and it's also releasing a free DLC coming out this May 2025. The game is available on Switch, PC, PS4 and 5, and Xbox XS, so it's a good time to give it a try. Maybe what drew you to Clair Obscur was the fact that it was a Western-style game, but with JRPG-style turn-based gameplay. Well, another game that kind of flew under a lot of people's radars, released just last year, that fits that bill. Enter the Thaumaturge. The Thaumaturge is an indie RPG we reviewed last year that's set in 1905 Warsaw. It's set in a somewhat similar time period to Clair Obscur, but it tones down the fantasy by a lot, and allows you to experience a down-to-earth setting and the historical, socio-political realities of Warsaw at the time. It's not too down-to-earth though, as you experience the world through the eyes of Viktor Shulsky, a Thaumaturge. A Thaumaturge is someone who has supernatural powers that allow them to see and command spirits called salutors. They also have the supernatural ability to detect lingering emotions in the environment and objects around them. The game employs a turn-based battle system, but doesn't have the QTE mechanics. However, it does allow you to fight with salutors. In battle, you can think of salutors like spooky Pokemon or paranormal JoJo stands. Each salutor has a different playstyle and would be useful in different ways. Also, one thing that kind of lacked in Clair Obscur was the roleplay aspect. Sure, there were dialogue choices, but they weren't that deep. In the Thaumaturge, dialogue choices are affected by your stats and the salutors in your possession. Also, remember when I said that Thaumaturges can detect lingering emotion? You can go around looking for clues, and whatever you find, you can leverage in dialogue. So side quests and the main quest would look different depending on your dialogue choices and the stats that you allocate. Typical of roleplay heavy games like Fallout New Vegas or Baldur's Gate. The Thaumaturge is available on PC, Xbox XS, and the PS5. Our last recommendation is probably the most different from Clair Obscur out of this list, but hear us out. Our last game on this list is Valkyrie Profile Lenneth. Valkyrie Profile Lenneth tells the story of a Valkyrie journeying across the world looking for dying warriors to send to Valhalla to join the Aesir in Ragnarok. Now this game doesn't have the same QTE type turn-based battle system, but again, there's a reason why we chose this game. If you're the kind of person who was drawn to Clair Obscur because it had a different take on the turn-based genre, then maybe you'd want to try Valkyrie Profile for its fairly unique turn-based style as well. The game's battle style is very different in that while it's turn-based, it plays like a really simple fighting game. The triangle, square, X, and circle buttons all correspond to a party character. Pressing them commands that particular character to attack. The gameplay focuses on combos and filling a gauge so you can execute a super/finisher. See? Sounds kinda like a fighting game, huh? The art style is also fairly unique as it feels like this Western fairy tale book kind of art style. The games following the first Valkyrie Profile weren't particularly well received, but the first Valkyrie Profile was a PS1 classic along with the previous entry, Legend of Dragoon. Valkyrie Profile Lenneth is available on the PlayStation Store for PS4 and 5. Obviously, Clair Obscur is a game that's great because of the sum of its parts. The otherworldly setting, the amazing animation, the gameplay, the characters, all that and more put together is what makes Clair Obscur Clair Obscur. But these other games may have one or two parts that they share with Clair Obscur that may be interesting to you too. One of the cool things about the gaming community is that one person probably has played something that you haven't heard of yet. So share! What games would you recommend to a Clair Obscur enjoyer? Tell us in the comments below. Like if you like, subscribe for more video game reviews and video game related content. This has been GameMate, and we'll see you next time.